Dan Ives yesterday dropped bombshells for investors. Like, F you if you don't see the vision at this point. Okay? Sorry to put it to you like that. I'm not your parents. I'm not your great uncle that says to buy the latest penny stock or latest crypto. Tesla is about to experience a revolution of growth that you have never seen before in Tesla that is paralleled by few companies. NVIDIA is one that could come to mind that could probably be comparable. Okay. Tesla stock is about to rock your world, blow your socks off over the next year or two. As Dan Ives says, Friday was the end of an era for Tesla, an era that was not so great, an era where Elon Musk was less focused on Tesla, and now Elon Musk is back. Dan Ives says over the next year or two, Tesla is going to not only do, but show the world its power in AI and robotics. I mean, this is a very powerful interview. If all Tesla investors just watch this interview, I think they would have a much more level-headed, grounded opinion on Tesla. Now, I'm a nut job. I have high expectations. This year, I think Tesla is going to be a $600 stock by the end of this year. I think next year, Tesla could be a $1,500 stock if they execute correctly on robotaxis. If we see the scalability, as Dan Ives puts it in this video, really come to light, where unlike Waymo being in 4 cities, Tesla's in 20 cities next year. Tesla could be a $1,500 stock, in my opinion, fairly easily. So, without rambling for another 10 minutes, take a listen to what Dan Ives just said about Tesla stock.
And Elon Musk set to make it official from the Oval Office shortly that Musk's time in government is coming to an end. Tesla shares are down about 2.5% today. They're still up 20% on the month as Elon Musk touted his return to the company, pledging to once again sleep on factory floors. My next guest has been counting down the days. Dan Ives of Wedbush is here on set with me. Good to have you.
Yeah, great to be here.
I mean, few people were pounding the table more than you for him to step away from the government role here. So is this a little bit of kind of buy the rumor, sell the fact shares are selling off today?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, look, it's a pop the champagne moment for Tesla investors because the biggest asset for Tesla is Musk. And I mean, this really today, I mean, they'll have the press conference, but this ends really what was a dark chapter for Tesla investors. And I think for Musk, it took on a life of its own. I don't think he ever anticipated, him going to the Trump White House and Doge was going to take on this in terms of some of the brand issues as well as everything we saw.
How deep would you describe those brand issues as being? Like, how much equity value has been lost to the company because of his time spent there?
I mean, I think, ultimately you could have a stock that's probably 20% higher from here. I mean, I think ultimately...
Is that already priced in? Was that the move this month?
Look, I believe we're looking at a $2 trillion market cap for Tesla. I mean, when autonomous and robotics plays out, in my opinion, this along with NVIDIA, 2 of the best disruptive technology companies in the world. But it speaks to why...
Here's where I struggle with the Tesla thesis a little bit, right? The AI, everything they're doing is amazing, except that what's coming out of China, to me, as a non-expert, seems more amazing. The prices of these cars, the sort of self-driving-ish capabilities that they have. Can you lay out, are those companies as good as what Tesla has? And why is Waymo ahead of them? Yeah. How am I supposed to be so blown away by Tesla when Waymo's over here with self-driving cars already?
Okay, it's a great point. But so when you look at Waymo, I mean, essentially in 4 cities, $230,000 cars each, right? So the question there is can it scale? So our whole view with Tesla is when it comes to scale, I view it as unmatched relative to engineering talent and the ability to scale. And I think Austin, what kicks off June 12th, I mean, to me, is really just the start of what's going to be the autonomous vision. And I believe we're sitting here a year from now, and cybercabs, robotaxis are going to be in 10, 15, 20
You think they
cities.
can have the cybercab manufactured in a year from now?
Oh, I think they could get to scale very quickly. And I think, again, look, the technology that's coming out of China is significant. And as someone that's seen it firsthand in terms of BYD and everything that we're looking at. But when it comes to globally, who I believe is going to dominate autonomous
but
and
aren't
robotics.
the Chinese going to do? I mean, they have cars, SUVs that cost $7,000 with some of these capabilities, right? These EV cars with some of the robotic elements. So how much scale I can see them dominating the U.S. market for sure, absolutely. Is their engineering, their ability, what they've done with these factories better, just mind-bogglingly amazing, of course. But are they going to be able to compete on the world stage?
Look, and I think on the world stage, I think it'll be their world. Everyone else will pay rent. In terms of my view, when they get to scale and as the regulatory environment gives them an even playing field, and I think that also speaks to why Musk, it's no longer about being in the 202 error code. It's about being at Tesla, leaders lead. And I think this is going to go down. The biggest chapter of Tesla's growth story is ahead of us.
Do you think he's more excited about the humanoid robot than about the future of self-driving cars? I mean, that's where we're seeing so much discussion. It's amazing what he's doing at SpaceX. Forget the fact that even the last rocket launch, making it to where it did, everything else that he has going on right now, so many different touch points with so much promise. Do you think Tesla still retains the same excitement and promise for him?
I think ultimately the golden goose, the hearts and lungs of the Musk, ecosystem is Tesla. And I think that's why, he read the room well, starting with, going back to that earnings call. And I think everything we've seen here, it's not coincidental the stocks had to move, because my view is like $500 is base value in terms of where I see shares. But Kelly, I think we're going to look at next year or two, and I think this is really going to be a golden era for Tesla when it comes to autonomous and robotics, led by Musk. And that's why this dark chapter now, today, ends. I see a bright future ahead.
As well as what Dan Ives says, I agree with all of that. I think people really underestimate Tesla to a crazy degree. Again, as I've said in videos prior, it's honestly crazy. The lack of visionary investors we have is incredible. Let's just put on our crystal ball here for a second and think about this. Shouldn't it be obvious Tesla is going to be the massive winner in Robotaxi? Okay. Isn't that obvious? From a pretty logical perspective. Sure, Waymo's going to have their piece. Sure, it's like the phone market or TV market or camera market, any market. There's going to be the mass market, lowest cost, best versatile option for anything. Or maybe clothes brands would be a good example. And then you're going to have higher end stuff. You're going to have lower end stuff. Okay, it's going to be no different when it comes to Robotaxi. Isn't it obvious Tesla is going to be the main player here, not the sideshow? Again, from a scalability perspective, you won't be able to match Tesla. You just won't. That's the bottom line. And I don't exactly know if this is going to be a winner takes most kind of market. I think inevitably Tesla's going to license their software. But Tesla's going to be the main player. When you think about self-driving cars, you're not going to think about Waymo. You're going to think about Tesla, okay? That seems obvious to me. What seems obvious to me that a lot of people, again, fail to realize that I think markets are really going to start to pick up on over the next 6 to 12, 18 months. And why I think Tesla could be a $1,500 stock next year is, again, Optimus. Optimus is a massive, as Jensen Huang put it on NVIDIA's earnings, is a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity. Okay, there is no larger market than Optimus long term. And it's not a question of, do we want humanoid robots? It's not. The question is, well, it's not really a question. The answer is, we need Optimus robots. Okay? Because why? Because of birth rates. That's literally all you need to know to be exceptionally optimistic on Optimus long term. If you're short term, then paying attention to some of the other things that we talk about here on this channel are more important. But longer term, you need Optimus. Who the hell do you think is going to work at McDonald's 20, 30 years from now? There's not going to be enough people to be electricians, to build homes, to be in the healthcare field, right? There is declining birth rates. Populations are not growing fast enough to keep up with the economy, okay? Optimus humanoid robots will come as a function of a need and not as a function of a want. Okay, and we already need 7 million Optimus bots just based on job openings. There's 7 million job openings that are unfilled. Okay, and that number is just gonna grow over time from that perspective. Then you get into who wants an Optimus robot. Okay, there is millions of Optimus robots that are needed right now, not just wanted right now. And again, I think over the next 6 to 18 months, the real bull case for Tesla is Wall Street starts to realize this. As Optimus starts to go out to companies, a lot of factory work, a lot of tedious stuff like printing, metal, right? Something Optimus just like 8 Mile. He just move it to the next one, move it to the next one. Wall Street will start to realize we need a lot more of these robots. And depending on the way that Tesla kind of structures the sale, if it's an outright sale, if it's more of a leasing kind of thing, then we'll assign different valuations to it. But that's what I believe over the next 6 to 18 months is coming for Tesla. That's why I'm so bullish on Tesla right now. That's why any potential dip is something that is a blessing, right? Because I could sit here and tell you this. Nobody else will, okay? Wall Street does not see the vision of this. I imagine Dan Ives does, right? He's thinking the same things that I am. But Wall Street as a populace is not. This is the 2006 moment for Apple, right? This is the moment where, okay, you see kind of where this is going. You don't know exactly, but you know it's going to be a lot bigger in the future. Like buying Tesla right now is like buying Apple in 2006, before the big iPhone moment. The big iPhone moment for Tesla is coming. It's coming a lot sooner than I would hope for, because I want to buy as much Tesla as I possibly can. Hopefully we get a larger dip. I'm thankful that I bought a lot in the low 200s when we had the opportunity just recently. But that iPhone moment is coming. Now, I want you guys to take a listen to this next clip where this Wall Street fund manager says Tesla is back.
Let's hear from one shareholder on what she expects post Doge, now that Musk is returning. Nancy Tengler is Laffer Tengler's CIO and CEO. Nancy, so what next for Tesla?
Well, I think, Kelly, quickly that, full self-driving will be with us soon. Musk announced that the cars were going to drive themselves from the factory to the buyer. He's always early, but it may happen, and I think that's an important change. Megapack, which is the energy business, is growing at 113% previous quarter, 70% last quarter, and is now being mandated when there are renewables because of what happened in Spain. It's the most profitable, fastest growing part of Tesla. And then, we've got 500,000 manufacturing jobs that are not filled. And Tesla announced they're going to have thousands of robots on the factory floor by the end of the year. So I think the company is back. I think every shareholder is glad to see it. And you can see the run up in the stock. We added to it around $240 a share in March, and it's trading around 350. So at your peril, you underestimate Elon Musk, who often teeters on the edge of a disaster and then pivots at just the right moment.
Nancy, I mean, it's commonplace, obviously, now to observe that the core actual car company that's producing cash flow is a small minority of whatever market value you can now attribute to the whole business. It's $1.1 trillion. The business is going to have like $10 billion in earnings next year. Put a huge multiple on it. It's still less than half. I guess, do you have to have a pretty strong sense of how quickly all the other things can kick in and actually start to become a business?
Well, I think this stock is a narrative stock, Mike. So, go back and look at Amazon all those years. It's up something like 180,000% since the IPO. And much of that time, the company was not earning money. think of the car, the EV, as the iPhone is to the Apple ecosystem. I think the full self-driving aspect, I live in Phoenix, which is Waymo land, and it's commonplace to see these driverless cars toting passengers around. I think that part of the business is going to scale quickly and will probably be monetized pretty quickly. So it's all about the ecosystem, in my view, with Tesla. It's not about valuation, and it's not even necessarily about earnings growth, because they whiffed last quarter and the stock's up 50%.
So again, like, honestly, if you miss out on Tesla, and we're making videos a year from now, 2 years from now, and Tesla's a $2,000 stock, I feel no sympathy whatsoever. This is right in front of you. You need to make a choice. You need to make your decision. How allocated do you want to be in Tesla? If Tesla is a $2,000 stock 2 years from now, and you could have retired and been a millionaire, and you do not position for that, that is your fault. Okay? You got to accept the blame in that. And if Tesla is a $100 stock 2 years from now, then something went disastrously wrong. And, well, I'm sorry. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a financial planner. But I think the odds of losing money in Tesla here are pretty low. Again, not a financial advisor, not a financial planner. Like, make your own choice. That is what life is about making choices. And ultimately, life is about minimizing regret. Okay? I try to live this way when there's a major decision, when, there's a pretty girl or something. Like, do I want to talk to her? Well, I don't want to live with regrets, right? You go skydiving. It's like, okay, if I do this, I could die. There's a chance of that. But if I don't want to regret not doing it, right? Life is about minimizing regret. And I think a lot of people are going to regret overlooking Tesla in the short term, and again, especially over the next couple of years. I will not regret, my choice in Tesla. I've done the research. I've done the due diligence. I can see the future and the vision. Again, it's not a matter of want. It's a matter of need for Optimus. And then, do you want to, is it better for society for self-driving cars? Yeah. I've never rode in an Uber. I don't like the idea of having someone else drive me. But I will go in a Robo taxi. I will go in a self-driving car. Okay? I feel a lot more comfortable with that. Maybe it was just how I was raised or whatnot. But I think a lot more people are going to feel comfortable with that. Hell, you can't even go on a date with a girl these days without her telling her friends her location, and she's going here with him to damn near she's going to give her friend your social security number. Like, people are paranoid these days. People just want autonomy and to be alone. And that's kind of, I guess that's sad, but that's just where life is at. So again, without rambling, I could go on probably another hour on this and why I'm bullish on Tesla. And we've only talked about the Tesla side of this. There's also the other side to this where I think generally people are way too bearish on this market. The tax bill pushing people out of a 3.5-year long recession on the lower income quartile of earners is massive. Opening up global markets is massive. Incentivizing, AI and deregulation and lower, again, corporate taxes even is going to be huge positives to this market. Most of Wall Street's not even considering. And again, it's not about what's happening today. Things could be shit today. The question is next year. And I think next year is something, again, nobody's thinking about. Next year should be really good, right? And I'm giving you a heads up of this. Over the next 6 months, Wall Street's going to say, oh, crap, 2026 is going to be a good year. We should buy stocks. So, hey, thank me later. We've been correct, way too correct this year on Tesla. Let me know your thoughts on this down below in the comment section. Ladies and gentlemen, have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.